I will tune in for that. I think it's so cute. I think it's going to be great. Old people in love is like the most endearing and sweetest thing ever. So I kind of want to see like how that flows. I feel like when it comes to, people my dad's generation, like my dad has zero filter.
You are partnered with Advanced Auto Parts for a Cool program. What can you tell us about this partnership?
Well, it's all centered around helping incoming students, incoming freshmen. 2/3, they did a study and they said that 2/3 of students, are, you know, the financial burden of having to fill their tank is definitely one of those burdens. So that's why I partnered with them, and they're actually giving away 10 fuel rides. So
Mhm.
10 students will get all their gasoline paid for throughout their college experience by Shell. So it's pretty cool. So, I remember when I was a freshman in college, I was, going to Scottsdale Community College. I was also commuting 45 minutes away to work. So having a full tank of gas in a car that ran right was like crucial. So it's pretty cool that they're doing this.
Yeah, that's what I want to ask you next, because when you were 18 or 19, was gas pretty much the most that put the most strain in your wallet?
I mean, yeah, I
Yeah.
think my car was everything. I just bought my car after high school, super proud to own it, loved working on it. And yeah, gas was one of those things where, I remember, I think gas was only $1 a gallon. So it was a whole different landscape. I
Yeah.
remember kind of like digging through my car, like looking how much change I had to see how much gas I could put in my tank. So yeah, gas is super important. And especially for those students that are also working while going to school and commuting, it's a huge, financial strain for them. It stresses them out. And so this is a pretty cool program to give some relief.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. I commuted to school when I was going to college, so I could definitely use something like that. But when you talk about your college experience, how was it for you?
For me, it's a little different. I think I lived pretty close to campus. I went to
Yeah.
Scottsdale Community College, and I was working at a racing school. So I was studying for marketing because I thought it'd help with my racing career. It was a really fun time in my life, and I think everyone just loves to drive. When they first get their license. So
Yeah.
I feel like there's like if you're the friend with the car, and I that was kind of like my inner circle was like a bunch of car buddies that love to work on their cars. So yeah, like having a full tank of gas is super important. And yeah, this is just really cool that Advanced Auto Parts is doing this. And they also, for any student that's going to school, you can always go to Advanced Auto Parts and get your battery checked, get your windshield wipers checked, and really kind of do a really good maintenance call for your car to make sure that it's safe for the road before you head off to college.
That's great. That's awesome. And I do want to ask you about your racing career in a little bit. But first, I want to talk to you about The Bachelor. You were in the 22nd season of that show. Looking back on it now, how was the experience for you being on The Bachelor?
Oh, it was awesome. Obviously I met my wife on The Bachelor and we have this amazing life together. So,
Yeah.
it's been an amazing ride. I think we're sort of one of the exceptions when it comes to the longevity of those relationships. And I'm just proud that I was able to experience being on The Bachelor. And so it's just led to this incredible life, and we're just very fortunate. And so, yeah, it was at the time, it seemed like a very difficult experience, but
Mhm.
looking back, I'm very thankful for it.
Yeah, you were on that show just a few years after you were on The Bachelorette. Looking back on the casting process, how was that? Because from what I understand, it was kind of a scramble because I don't know if you were necessarily the first choice, but you were chosen eventually. So how was that experience?
Well, for me, it kind of came out of the blue, to be honest.
Yeah.
I've been 6 years removed from the franchise, so I had gone on The Bachelorette in 2012, and so I'd kind of forgotten. I'm not forgotten about the show. They would check in every year, and they would kind of
Right.
say, "Would you like to be?" And I remember a few weeks before The Bachelor started taping, they reached out and they're like, "Hey, we'd love to see you in." I'm like, "Hey guys, I don't really have time for this." I kind of blew them off a little bit.
Yeah.
And okay, I'll come to LA, I'll take a meeting. So I took a meeting, and right there and then they're like, "Okay, you're the guy." And I was like, "Really?" So the whole time I thought I was like, it was like almost too good to be true, kind of thing. because I felt like, okay, I'm gonna go on GMA, and then all of a sudden there's gonna be like two bachelors or something. Like, what's the scoop? Like, so it really kind of hit me when I showed up to the mansion, and obviously then it was kind of the rest is history. But yeah, it was kind of out of blue.
Yeah, currently the Bachelorette is going on, and it stars Charity Lawson. Have you been watching the new season of the show? Have you been keeping up with it at all? And what are your thoughts on it if you have?
No, I haven't actually. I haven't watched since Chris Harrison was the host.
Okay.
I think just like with the little kids, we have twins that are 2 and we have a 4-year-old.
Mm.
So our Monday nights are usually pretty busy. And yeah, we just haven't watched in a few years. I think when you've gone through the experience, you can almost kind of see the storyline developing, and it's almost like too predictable, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's entertaining a little bit, but also I think there's a little PTSD when we watch it. So
Yeah.
yeah, we've kind of moved on from that chapter, but I'll probably start watching like, sometime soon. Who knows?
Yeah. Speaking of that, ABC is launching the Golden Bachelor later this year. What was your reaction when you learned they were going to have a show pretty much surrounded by senior citizens?
I mean, I love that. I feel like I will tune in for that. I think it's so cute. I think it's going to be great. Old people in love is like the most endearing and sweetest thing ever. So I kind of want to see like how that flows. I feel like when it comes to, people my dad's generation, like my dad has zero filter. I hope the new Bachelor is the same.
Oh yeah, I can definitely see that. And speaking of your dad, he was a racer, like yourself. When when you started racing, you were competing at a young age. So did you know that you wanted to race professionally?
Yeah, I mean, for me, that's kind of the funny thing is like we're talking about cars, and that's been my passion my entire life. Like if you can imagine, as a kid growing up, my dad was my hero. I used to go to all the races. So I went to college to better my racing career because I was like, hey, I want a marketing degree so that I can, half of racing is, there's driving and then there's marketing yourself to get the
Right.
sponsorships. So that was kind of the thing for me. Like college was really the motivator to go to college was to become, better at marketing and, get some more sponsorship dollars to be able to race. And I think that's kind of something that I was always pretty good at. So yeah, I attribute my college experience to helping my racing career.
Of course. And you competed in the Indy 500 in 2006. What was it like for you to compete in one of the biggest races in the world?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, I think at the time, I only competed in one Indy 500. And it was just kind of a shame the timing of my career because as soon as 2006, 2007 rolled around, we kind of went through a little bit of an economic crash,
Yeah.
the real estate crash. And because of that, all the marketing dollars kind of dried up. And then I ended up going on The Bachelorette. So I mean, and it's kind of funny. It's like my life has kind of taken these twists and turns, but it's all been it's all like turned out really well for me. So I can't say like I regret that I didn't race more, or been able to, you know, drive at the level that my dad did. But, I'm in a happy place and I still get to race every now and then. I do a little stadium super trucks and
No.
maybe this year I'm going to do my first sprint car race. But yeah, so it's kind of wild.
And when you talk about your career, you've won your share of races. You also made podiums, and you even got a medal in the X Games. So, what would you say would be your favorite moments in your career?
Yeah, I'd say definitely the Indy 500. Winning a race in Indy Lights, that took a long time, but I got it done. Driving for A1GP for Team Netherlands, that was pretty cool because I traveled the world. And then yeah, like switching my whole career and doing off-road and being able to get a medal at X Games was really special too. I think those are kind of the highlights. I'd say the best memory I have was when I was really young. I was 16 and I was racing in Formula Ford in Europe, and my grandfather was super passionate about racing. He got my dad into racing. He got me into racing. And I remember finishing on the podium in front of our friends and family and him, and he was like so happy. And even though it wasn't a win, it was cool because I could just see like how happy and proud he was. And so I think that's still my fondest memory of my racing career.
Awesome. And most recently, when you're talking about your TV career, you appeared in the Peacock series Traders and finished fourth on that
Mhm.
show. So, how was it being on that show? What was the biggest challenge? Did you enjoy the experience?
I think I did. I think the hardest thing was being away from my family for so long. We
Yeah.
didn't have access to phones because it was a competition show, so they want to keep it really fair. So they make sure that no one gets online and studies other contestants. That was the hardest part. The show itself, is such an amazing concept, and I think I had a little advantage because I watched the Dutch version. I speak Dutch. I was born in
Yeah.
So I watched that ahead of time. So I kind of had a little bit of a leg up on the competition. So I kind of laid low and kind of let everyone self-eliminate. And then I was there in the end. So I guess my biggest disappointment was being away from my family and not winning the $250,000 at the end because I was like, this is
Yeah.
close. But
Oh,
still fun
yeah.
experience. And I'm really excited to see season 2 and who they cast for that.
Absolutely. I think everyone else is as well. But when it comes to, appearing in more reality shows or just shows in general, are you open to doing that? Are you willing to appear in more reality shows down the road?
Yeah, yeah, no, I think I would love to do something with Lauren. So whatever that looks
Yeah.
like, I think it'd be cool to do something together. I feel like the world didn't really get to see like every side of her personality. The Bachelor, like they edit it down so much, and typically the person at the end doesn't get the greatest edit. So I kind of would love for people to learn more about Lauren and to get to know her better because she's hilarious and she's so funny, and she's witty. And so it'd be fun to do something together, like an Amazing Race or something like that.
Mm. Yeah, that would be awesome. Well, Arie, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. Congratulations on everything and have fun on the rest of your vacation.